Blast is provided online by NCBI, and you can do this blast over the internet, but in most of the scenarios we have large data sets. So on those situations, it is preferred that we use this blast locally on our own computers or servers. So that thing is called as local variants of blast, or simply local blast. Not to be confused with the local alignment or global alignment. So local means you are doing it on your local machines. So what we do over here is NCBI that maintains large annotated databases. So you can use those databases also. So you can download and install Blast, and you can download their databases also. But in most of the cases, we are interested in creating our own databases. So we have our query sequences, and we want to check about the presence or the alignments of those query sequences with some of our sequences in which we are interested in. So we can create our own databases also. So here are different flavors of blast. Blast P is a protein to protein blast. Blast N, nucleotide to nucleotide. You are comparing the DNA and taking the DNA as query and comparing with the DNA databases. T blast is sometimes it's slightly different than that. So you have again nucleotide versus nucleotide, but you have translated nucleotides, so that's what you use. So in case of T blast N, you take the proteins, and then from those proteins you get back to your DNA, and you use that DNA and search against the DNA. So that is T blast N. Blast X is where you take those nucleotides pieces and then you translate them into the proteins, and then you align them with the protein. So that is, there are different variants, flavors of the blast which you can use. Blast can be downloaded from here, which is this address, http www.ncbi. So you can go to NCBI and then you put a slash and put a blast over there, or on NCBI there is a link which is you can click and you can go there. So on that blast page you can scroll down and click this thing which says FTP site, download data and software. Once you click it, it will lead you to a page like this where you can click those executables. So this section, when you click executables, what will happen if you click that? It will give you different variants of the blast, and then you can select from among those variants in which you are interested in, and then you can download the proper executables depending upon what computer software, what operating system you are using. For example, if you have Windows, you will use that variant. So if you have Mac, you will use that variant. So after you download the proper variant, you might want to install that. So in Windows, you have executable files. Either you can click on them or use them, or you can use this what we call it as DOS prompt in Windows. So where you can go and you can CD to those folders where your executables are located, and you can use them over there. In Mac, normally they come as a compressed file as in those zipped folders. So this is a command to unzip that. So you get that, unzip it, and then you install it following the instructions which are given over there. So after installation, some additional files might also be seen. So you see there becomes a file called as blast whatever is it. So that is the executable. If it's Windows, it will have Win32 because 32-bit system window was downloaded as per your requirement. So that's why you see that file over there. Then you have these folders. So you have data folder. So that contains different algorithms, etc. in this. You have documentations, normally the web pages. So better you can view them with some web browsers, and rest of the blast files, and they are present in this bin folder. So after the blast is installed, we can check whether our installation is correct or it is not correct. So we have test data files which are available into that folder which we downloaded from the internet, so we can test blast with them. What we can do is we can CD to that folder and issue the commands coming in those slides down below. So if we want to create a database for some of the sequences. So remember guys, so we have query and we have search. So query is the sequence for which we are doing BLAST, and search space is actually the database or set of sequences for which we are running the query. So for example, if you want to there are two plants, one is Arabidopsis and one is soybean. So you want to do Arabidopsis against the soybean. So in that case, your Arabidopsis is query and soybean is your search. So you can flip around and make the other one as query and the first one as search. So in this way, you can have a reciprocal BLAST. So creating our own database is really important in this BLAST searches. So there is a command called as formatdb that can be issued like this, and we issue the command formatdb, so it will create our database. Then we have these -i in this whole command. So we also have -p. So these things we call them as arguments. So there is the command and then we have some options or other arguments. So here the option is -i, so that specifies the name of your input file. That file which contains those sequences, those protein sequences for which we are trying to make our database. If these sequences are protein sequences, we can set this -p option to true. If we have nucleotides or the DNA sequences, we can set it into false. So our database is formed after this formatdb command. Now we want to run BLAST. So this is the command if you want to run BLAST. So same command you will use if you want to test BLAST while using those test data files we talked them earlier. So the command is BLAST all and then -p. So -p over here means which variant, which program you want to use. So in BLAST all you have different flavors. Here in this example we are using BLAST N, and then you specify the name of the database after this option -d, and then you specify the input name of your file, that is the query or the file that contains your query sequences, and then you specify the output with some name, like I wrote it as test.output, and you can specify with this -o option. So when you do that, when you issue this command, it will do the BLAST and it will take all those BLAST results and put them in this output file. So doing BLAST over the internet might be cumbersome. Sometimes you have large data sets, so where you are interested to do the BLAST locally. So doing and running a local BLAST variant is a fun, and it's also is more feasible as far as our requirements are concerned.